Welcome back to Legacy Unfiltered, where the glow ups are real, the lessons are loud, and the journey is definitely not a straight line. I'm your host, Mariah,
And I'm your co host, Tamara.
and today we're talking about something anyone who is evolving knows all too well: the art of the pivot.
We both had those moments where life hits you with a plot twist, and suddenly you're switching lanes, switching careers, switching circles, or switching mindsets. So today we're unpacking what it really looks like to change course, not because you're lost, but because you're growing.
So grab your tea, your journal, your edges if you need them, because this episode is for anybody who's in that okay, so what now season. The art of the pivot represents courage. It's taking a leap of faith and trusting God has his hand on your shoulder as you navigate unfamiliar territory. Ironically, we are calling today's episode the art of the pivot because there is beauty in change and in transition. Tamara, you and I talk a lot about growth and evolution on our Legacy Unfiltered episodes because it resonates with this chapter of our lives. It's not failure, it's simply redirect. So, what does it mean to pivot? The textbook definition of pivot in life means to change directions in a significant way, such as in your career, your relationships, lifestyle, or even mental health based on new information or circumstances. What stats do you have, Tamara, around pivoting in life and the average age people tend to pivot in their careers, relationships?
Well, I love this topic, first of all, because we've spoken about it before about us being in just periods of transition. I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
transition in my life, you're in yours, and I'm certain our
Mm-hmm.
country's in a pivot right now. I think we are
Yes.
all just like we're
Yeah.
trying to find. We're at the end of the of this year, and we're
Mm-hmm.
all just trying to make the necessary changes to set us up for a great, successful, and hopefully more productive next year.
Yes.
So in my research in the topic, I did find some really, really fun stats. So our friends at Indeed, and I've been on Indeed a lot because, as you know, I'm in a new place and was looking for jobs. But one of their
Period.
stats
I
that I
love
thought was
Indeed.
so interesting was that 49% of workers say they have made dramatic career switches in their lifetime. So the key
How
word
many
is
times? We're
49%.
thinking, so in your work life, how
Mhm.
many times is an
Have I
average
switched careers?
person and pivot, just in general, an average person pivots how many times in their work life, do you think?
I would say, and if I remember, there was a stat, it was like 5 to 10,
Yeah, which is insane.
which is insane. But if you think about it, I have switched jobs. I have been in education, in the school
Mm-hmm.
system, that I've
Mm-hmm.
been a nonprofit. I've
Mm-hmm.
been a business owner. I've been, an artist. I have been many, many things. And each point of my life, I was, not doing the other. I was just trying to find my way in life. So it was very interesting to me to hear all the stats, but 49% that do a dramatic, drastic change, that means they're going from one place to the other. And
Yeah.
on that note, I have found really, really cool people in our culture who have shaped our daily day lives, who
Mm-hmm.
switch jobs like after 30.
Wow.
So a few people that have switched or have pivoted
Mm-hmm.
drastically. So it all the list, this guy, Mr. Amazon himself, is on all the lists.
Bezos?
Jeff Bezos is on, he's on there. He had a career in computer science and on
Wow.
Wall Street, and then he just made a drastic change into e-commerce, and now he's in everyone's household
Wow.
in a crazy dramatic way. So Jeff Bezos is the king of the pivot. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Number two, our girl Martha Stewart. Martha was a model. Listen,
What was
Martha's a
Martha
gem.
doing before she was
Martha was
Martha?
she was girl. Martha has had 9 lives. Okay, she
Yeah, she
was
is.
a model. She was a mom. Then she said the modeling jobs were kind of slowing up, which they typically do.
Hmm.
Then she was a Wall Street broker. And then
Wow.
she was like, you know what? I can cook. I know how to run this house. And now she has like this conglomerate The next person is
Yeah.
one of my favorite people, Terry Crews. And I know
I love
Terry
Terry
Crews.
Crews.
But we see this trend, and you work a lot with
Yeah.
athletes. You see the trend. We have
Yes.
seen so many people go from NFL to entertainment, which we know is
Yes.
like, sports is entertainment, but like
Yeah.
from NFL to acting.
We're talking
And
about
also
two
he's in the game
completely
show.
different careers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like two totally different things. But we see a lot of
Yeah.
athletes going from the field to on screen. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
A couple more people was Jonah Peretti, who was
Okay.
teaching middle school computer science, and then he launched Huffington Post and BuzzFeed.
Wow.
We have, this is a cool one, Anna Mary Robertson Moses. She was known as Grandma Moses. She began her painting career at 78.
See, I love
78.
I love those stats. Because
She
it
like
tells you that at any time in your life, you can pivot, and it has no age restriction on it, which I love.
78. We have Vera Wang, who
Yes,
was
she was
a figure
figure skater.
skater.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and there's so many more. There's so many
Mhm.
more. So, anybody out there that is feeling like they're stuck, remember, you are not a tree.
Yes.
You can move at
Yes.
any age. If you are still alive, you have time to make a change and really, really make a difference. There's like people that keep showing up on the list. And
Mhm.
I love that because it's like,
Yeah.
uh,
And I could be wrong, but I feel like when I think of your mega millionaires and your billionaires, and when I hear their stories about when they became successful, it's later on in their careers. It wasn't the
right.
first time that they started a business venture. They've had to pivot quite a few times, and then
Yeah.
finally they hit the grand slam when they're in their late 40s, 50s, 60s.
Hmm.
So again, pivoting has no age restriction. There's no limit on it, and there's art in the pivot.
And the last guy I want to add to the list is our guy, Harlan Sanders, better known as Colonel Sanders, was 62 when he franchised Kentucky Fried Chicken. He
Mhm.
also had like several odd jobs before, which was like a country lawyer, gas station operator, and railroad worker.
Okay.
He went from the railroad to chicken
Yeah.
franchise.
Talk
So
about a change in course.
So I really enjoyed learning about all these notable people. I was so
Hmm.
inspired just by their bravery and just the audacity just to try something new, you know? So shout out to all of them. So are there any notable people that you want to shout out and highlight who have made impressive pivots?
Yes. The first person that comes to my mind is Miss Meghan Markle. She pivoted from her acting career to focus on philanthropic work and royal duties after marrying Prince Harry. And I would say her marriage shifted her entire path. So no longer could she focus her identity around her passion, which was at the time entertainment and advocacy. Megan shut down her lifestyle blog that she had at the time called The Tig and deleted all of her social media accounts. She went
Wow.
from being a successful actress, a vocal women's advocate, and a blogger to a duchess. So talk about a shift in life's trajectory, a shift that A, she was not fully prepared for. B, nothing could have prepared a LA native to step into the shoes of a duchess.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of the art of pivoting and a public figure or a celebrity who has pivoted significantly, I think of her. And Megan's
Mm-hmm.
transparency about her experience with the royal family agitated a lot of people. In her sit down with Oprah, I'm not sure if you watched it, T, it's fantastic. She opens up about the immense pressure her and Harry faced, the discrimination, and how she contemplated suicide. So not only did she have a career pivot, she had a lifestyle pivot and a mental health pivot that she courageously navigated, I believe, to the best of her ability. Her chapter of being part of the royal family sparked her and Harry's decision to leave. So her life intentionally shifted again. So she goes from being an LA native, actress, advocate, living her best life, to becoming a duchess, And then her life pivots again when she goes from being a duchess. I wouldn't say back to her normal life before becoming a duchess, but she shifts again. And I don't know Megan personally, but I do believe she felt the emotional side of pivoting, the guilt of starting over, the fear of disappointing others, and the pressure of leaving behind a plan she invested years into. I would ask myself this question a lot. So, how do you know it's time to pivot? And I created a list, and on that list, I have when you feel stuck or uninspired, when staying feels heavier than leaving, when your values evolve but your environment doesn't, when something that used to fit now feels tight, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, or when life's unforeseen circumstances force you down a different path. Those are some of the circumstances that can cause you to want to pivot or even need to pivot. And how to pivot with purpose: make sure you are intentionally shifting and not impulsively quitting. There is a difference. Realize the importance of pausing instead of forcing a direction. Journaling, prayer, therapy, and talking with trusted friends. So, although redirection comes with uncertainty, it builds strength, it builds character, and it builds faith if you are a believer. I think it gives you a testimony to share with others so that they know they can survive the change and the transition. It's an inedible part of life that all of us can find the beauty in, and pivots can lead to different opportunities that you didn't see before. And we get to decide on how we handle those opportunities. So that's why when we talk about the art of the pivot, there's so many beautiful things that come from pivoting. To me, it's more than just changing careers. I think on social media, people will see Megan, for example, and think, oh my God, she went from being a successful actress to a duchess. How glamorous. People don't see the middle. They don't see the messiness and the growth and the evolution that comes with pivoting. It's real. Changing is real. Transitioning is real, but there's beauty in it. And that's why we call it the art. Art is beautiful. So
I love that.
all right, y'all, it's time for our favorite part of the show, a little rapid fire realness. Since today's episode is all about the art of the pivot, we're playing a game we like to call Pivot or Commit. So, Tamara, we're going to throw out a bunch of situations, some messy, some meaningful, some little too relatable, and we have to answer on the spot. Are we
Okay.
pivoting or are we committing?
Okay.
All right, so we got 10. Let's do it.
All right.
A friendship that's draining, but that friendship is 10 plus years old. Are we pivoting or committing? Me personally, I'm pivoting. Can't do draining.
Pivot. I can't do drainage.
So, a job that pays well but kills your joy.
Okay.
Paying you 6 figures, 7 figures, you are miserable. Are you pivoting? Are you committing? Are you going to therapy? Are you journaling? Are you talking to a trusted friend? What are we doing? I say I'm going to commit. Unless,
I'm
well, I think it depends on how far down I am. Like, if I just mentally can't do it, I will pivot. But if I have a good therapist, so I'm gonna commit.
I'm gonna use my PTO and cry on the beach. I'm committing. Thank
I'm
you.
dating someone who has great potential but bad communication. Pivot for me.
Pivot.
I don't do potential anymore. Your original 5-year plan no longer fits who you're becoming. Pivot for me. Automatic pivot.
Yeah, pivot. Yeah, I'm
Your aesthetic. I'm committing.
definitely. Yeah, I'm committing. It's an aesthetic.
Yeah. Maybe if you would have asked me 5, 10 years ago, I would have said pivot, but I like this version of myself.
Well, the thing is, if I'm still developing my aesthetic, then okay,
Yeah,
it might be a pivot there. But once I
yeah,
have figured it out and I'm comfortable and, I
yeah,
love this, then I'm committing
yeah.
because
Your morning routine, commit.
definitely commit. Especially with skincare, honey. You can't keep
Yeah,
changing. You have to,
yeah.
consistency is key.
Consistency is key. Talking stages, pivot or commit. I mean, we're both very much married, so this doesn't pertain to
I
us.
don't want to talk
I
no
will
more.
say, if I wasn't married, I don't feel like talking to you.
I don't want
Pivot.
to talk anymore.
I don't feel like
That
talking.
that that ship has sailed.
Right.
No,
Goodbye.
no.
Trying something totally new in 2026. So the new year. I say commit. I'm going to commit to trying something.
Definitely committing to do many, many, many new things in 2026. Absolutely.
Letting go of who you thought you'd be by now. Are you going to pivot on that idea or commit to that idea?
No, I am definitely pivoting on who I thought. Is that right? Who I thought I was going to be is
So
definitely not
letting
who
go
I.
of who you thought you would be.
Yes,
So
I am
letting
definitely letting.
go of who you thought you would be, do you want to stick with that or pivot out of that mindset?
No, I want to pivot out that mindset.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. Pivot. There's no need to hold on to that. It's time for our small business shout out. Every week we highlight a brand or a business that's out here grinding, creating, and inspiring. Because when one of us wins, we all win. Today we have Allison Mathis Jones joining us. And you know what's crazy? Allison needs to be on an episode because she is born to the game.
Okay.
I
Is
kind of am, I was like
No,
reading
not
y'all's
kinda, baby.
Instagram
You
bio,
are.
and I was
You
like,
are definitely
oh,
going to
like my dad wasn't an athlete, but he was kind of doing the dang thing. So
while we have Allison here, let's talk about, since today's episode is about the art of the pivot and the courage of pivoting and changing and transitioning. Allison, just walk us through your life. Obviously, you're my girlfriend, so I know you on a
yes.
personal level, but share with viewers how you've managed to transition from being a stay-at-home mom and your focus and your identity is centered around motherhood and being a basketball wife to now you are a business mom. You have your own real estate company. You're out here just pivoting and there's beauty in it. And I'm sure it's messy at times, but just walk us through that experience and just what you're going through right now.
So I just have to start by saying, like, I'm one of those people, and I think that you ladies are the same, where I tend to like kind of minimize like the things that I do. And we as women, first of all, we have got to stop doing that. We have got to stop like downplaying our accomplishments and like just minimizing everything that we bring to the table, because I was working on my resume actually just earlier this week, and I like really realized that even though for the majority of my adult life I've been a stay-at-home wife and then a stay-at-home mom, I've done a lot of stuff. I have worked in like, a lot of areas. And so, my husband plays professional basketball overseas. And so for a long time, like, that's who I was. Like, I was his wife and I was traveling with him, supporting him. And I even kind of built a brand around being, his wife and what it looked like to support him. And just the type of person I am, very early on, I figured out that wasn't going to be quite enough for me. And if it is okay for other people, that is totally fine. I think that being a wife and being the support to a strong, successful man is important. So many of us would not be where we are today had our mothers not been those women. However, I knew that I was going to need a little something more to feel like I was contributing, not financially, but just like to the world, I knew I had something more to give. So before I even had kids, I started a candle company, and that was kind of my first business, like outside of just being, well, I don't want to say just, outside of being a content creator, blogger, was I started this candle company, and I kind of went full speed ahead into it. The reason that I mention it is because like most first businesses, it didn't work out. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, and it didn't work out. And so that was kind of my first time having to recognize that it was time for a pivot. And I think that that is really important, is that so many times we stay stagnant for too long, and we have to learn to recognize like when it's time to let something go and when it's time to move on. So I pivoted from that pretty much straight into mom life, like stay at home mom, 2 little kids. I am all in, mommy mode 100%. And I think that for so many of us, like motherhood just, it sucks the life out of us in the best way. Like that sounds very negative. And I mean that it sucks the life out of us in that like we don't have anything to give to other areas of our life for so long. And if you're in that phase, I would just want to let you know that that's okay. I think that we can be really hard on ourselves, but it is just a stage. It is just a phase. And like, you will find yourself again and find the time to do other things. And so I went from stay-at-home wife to business owner to stay-at-home mom. And now I'm in a season where I am pivoting again. I'm saying pivoting because I feel like it's very ongoing. Like, I don't feel like pivoted would be,
working document.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. And so I have now kind of launched my real estate career. And I've always been into real estate. Like, I mean, selling sunset, looking at houses, like always been into real estate, always been interested in it. But I honestly just didn't think I had like the time to really put into it. But now that my kids are like in school and I have a little bit more time, I'm like, okay, let's do this. And like, as funny as it is, since we're talking about pivoting, and I didn't even mention this in all the things that I have done, I also have a master's in marriage and family therapy. And so my whole like outlook in terms of real estate is like helping people navigate life changes, because people need to pivot, and real estate is quite often a large part of that pivot, whether we're talking newlyweds, whether we're talking first-time mom, whether we're talking divorced couple, whether we're talking, a couple who maybe has to move their aging parents in. All of those things are pivots that, we're required to make throughout life. And like, I feel like people need a real estate agent who really understands what that looks like, not just in terms of home buying, but also just emotionally and mentally,
Yes. Yeah.
I love that. I love
do
you
too.
like bridging the two together. I mean, and I've really not have heard that, because when you are buying a house, it's such an emotional, when you're moving, and even in that, like when you've moved out of state and then you don't even know what areas, and it's just like this huge emotional strain. So to have a person like you that is mastered and who understands me as a person and my needs, not just trying to sell me a house. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
like
amazing.
this is not just transactional, guys. Like this is finding the home that's going to support you in your next chapter, like of your journey of life. And like, we have to be very strategic in looking for it. Like the location, the number of bedrooms, are you going to need an office space? Like, do you need a playroom for your kids? There's just so many things that come into play to make sure that this home supports like not exactly where you've come from, but where you're going,
Boom.
I love that. I love that.
So good.
It's always about growth and evolving. And Tamara and I talk about that so much. So let's say someone moves to Atlanta and they watch this and they say, oh my goodness, I want to work with Allison. Where can people find you? How can people connect with you?
So my website is homeswithamj.com. That is probably the first place that you should go, just because that'll lead you in all of the other directions. I also am on Instagram. My personal Instagram is at Allison Mathis Jones. You can always reach out there, but I also have like a real estate specific Instagram that is at Homes with AMJ that matches the website, so you can reach out there. And then I'm also open to like, just shoot me an email. Like, we don't even have to do all those, formalities. Just shoot me an email and say, girl, like, I need your help. So my email is allison@homeswithamj.com.
Perfect. So what is your goal by the end of 2026? We're about to enter
the end of 2026. So I just released a new guide that's called Navigating Life's Transitions. And it pretty much breaks down like some of the transition areas we were talking about. And there's a section that's kind of like practical, mental health oriented. And there's also a section that is more so real estate oriented. It's a free guide. It's available on my website. I'm just giving it out because I think that so many people could use it. And in 2026, my goal is to really connect with other business owners who have clientele that I think could use this guide. Like, I'm like, okay, like, let me reach out to divorce attorneys. Let me reach out to like OBGYN offices. Let me reach out to the places where these people are that are going through their transitions. And so I really, in 2026, like, of course, I mean, I want to sell houses, don't get me wrong, but I really want to be able to be like a resource to people, because I think that my expertise is one that is necessary and like not a lot of people really have when we're marrying, you know, that mental health background and real estate.
So what would you say to someone who is in your position or was in your position where they are, I guess, not even necessarily a stay-at-home mom, but they're trying to take that leap of faith and jump into something new? It's scary. We talked about it earlier, T. It takes so much courage, but it does build strength and character. So what is one piece of advice you would give to not even necessarily another woman, but just another person in general who wants to pivot or who wants to transition into something completely foreign?
My biggest piece of advice, not only for other people, but for myself in this season, is that you have to give yourself grace, and you have to understand that everything is not going to happen every day. Like everything is not going to get done every day, and that is okay. Especially if you are a mom, but even if you're not a mom, even if let's say that you want to get into real estate, but you also work a 9-to-5, there's going to be some days where like that 9-to-5 is just going to take precedent over your real estate stuff, and like that is okay. There's going to be some days where motherhood takes precedent to your business, and there's going to be some days where you give your kids their tablets and you turn on Bluey and you're sitting there on your laptop getting work done, you know, while you let them just like melt into those tablets, and that is fine. So I would say give yourself grace and understand that if everything doesn't get done every day, that is okay. There is no such thing as balance. Balance is a myth. There is no such thing as 50-50. Some days this area of your life is going to get 100 and this area of your life is going to get close to 0, and that is fine.
Facts. So Allison, I love that you say it's a myth, because it is a myth, and you can try and try and balance and balance and balance, and it just doesn't happen, and you have to just learn how to just take it for what it is. So if you could talk to yourself, to 20-year-old Allison, I picked 20 because it's like it's a time where you're probably like in college and you're right there, you know, figuring out who you are, and now you're looking back. What would you say to her right now?
My gosh,
That is such a
20-year-old
good
Allison.
question.
That is an amazing question. So I feel like 20-year-old Allison was really trying to hyper focus in one area. It was in college, and I think in college, I'm gonna let y'all know, I was already kind of scatterbrained, right? So like I have a PR and psychology double major, a marketing and religious studies minor. Like I was trying to do all the things. However, by the time I was 20, I feel like the world was telling me, like, girl, pick something. Like, pick one thing. And I didn't listen. And I would go back and tell myself, like, girl, don't listen. Like, don't listen to all those people telling you that you have to be just one thing and commit to just one area of your life. Because now I see that, like, all of my different majors, all of my different educational background, it all comes together so beautifully and helps to set me apart. So I would tell 20-year-old me, actually, like, good job, girl, for not listening. Like, stay scatterbrained, you know, like do all the things, because they will all come together.
There's a saying, not all who wander are lost.
Exactly. Sometimes we know where we're going. Other people are like, girl, where are you going?
We're
but
multifaceted people, and that's okay. And I love that, because people they really do it, because they're not like that, because maybe they can go to a job and stay in it for 30 years and be totally fine. Everybody's mind, brain, and mindset is not like that. And so they tend to put people down that seem to be all over the place. But like you said, it can all create this marriage of who you are and what you have to offer to be a resource to other people who need your help. So, bravo.
We're so proud of you, Allison.
So proud of you.
Guys. Thank you,
guys. Two admirers in us, and I know a lot of your followers admire your work. And you hit it earlier when you said that even though you were a stay-at-home mom and you look back and you look over your resume and you're like, damn, I was doing a lot of shit.
I've been that girl. I've been who I said I was.
We just need a reminder check.
Yeah.
So we all need to maybe do that. Maybe that's an exercise we need to do. We all need to write down and refresh our resumes and just remind ourselves of who we are.
That was
We've
like
been
so
doing this.
helpful for me. Such a confidence builder, because I think we forget, and I think we downplay our, but like when you really look at it, like I guarantee you have done more in your 30 something, however old you are, years than you're giving yourself credit for if you really like put it on paper, you know?
Yeah. Love that.
So good. Kudos to you, Allison, for standing in your truth, for evolving, growing, pivoting, all the things, and just being such a positive inspiration to people and other women. So we are proud of you. Just know that Tamara and I are always rooting for you, and we're so proud of your growth, and we are here to support you on your journey. And we love you, and thank you so much.
We can't wait for you to be on Born to
I
the
love
Game.
you guys too.
Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of Legacy Unfiltered. I'm your host, Mariah.
And I'm Tamara.
And we'll see you next week. Please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and ask us questions. Ask Ryan T. Ask us anything you want. Make sure it's appropriate.
Don't ask us something crazy.
Don't ask us nothing crazy. But we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.